No cigarette? No after-sex affection? You know, I have to tell you, as much as I like watching you take your clothes off, it's even a bigger turn on seeing you getting dressed. You think that's sick? Hell, you probably think the whole thing's sick. Well, you're just gonna have to learn to broaden your horizons. You know, now that I think of it, you were doing a pretty good job in that department even before I came along. But we've managed to raise the bar to a whole new level. It's too bad you can't tell anyone about it. But that's kind of the point of this whole thing, isn't it? Not telling anyone. Thanks for stopping by.
Kid was going to his car. He already had his keys out. Car hit him. He flew back over there. Car backed over him. Came to a stop. ran over him, and then hightailed it out of the garage.
I'd say the driver was real thorough.
Real angry. Anybody see the car?
The attendant saw a yellow 68 Pontiac Le Mans run through the barrier. We got an APB out on it. The kid's name was Mark Stavros. He's a second-year student at that fancy private college in West Palm, Easton College.
Did he work part-time at the hotel?
No. He was a guest.
Whose?
The room was rented in his name. Room 721.
Cassie's fine. Come in the garage.
Good. So, Elder, what do we got?
We've gone over the whole room, got 15, maybe 20 sets of prints.
Cleaning people don't dust like you guys.
Looks that way.
Is he alone?
No, lipstick on the sheets.
Traceable fluids?
Nope,
You're asking employees if they saw anybody coming and going.
all over it, Captain. And we're trying to reach his parents. They're on a cruise in the Mediterranean.
Harry, what do you figure a room like this goes for?
A couple of hundred a night.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Okay.
Sergeant Ryan,
Are you in charge of this circus?
this is Calvin Morrissey. He's the manager here.
Oh, I'm Sergeant Tom Ryan. Yes, I'm in charge of this investigation.
Then can you explain why my hotel suddenly looks like the policeman's ball?
Sir, I'm sorry. It's standard procedure for a homicide investigation.
Well, it's proving a major inconvenience for my guests.
Not as great an inconvenience as it's been for my victim.
Things like this simply do not happen here. This is Palm Beach's finest hotel.
Not anymore. I guess you lose a star if there's a murder on the premises.
I hardly find this amusing.
Trust me, I don't find this amusing either, Mr. Morrissey. We need to see the hotel records.
No, that won't be necessary. I looked myself. Mr. Stavros checked in once a week for the last month.
By himself.
That's what the record shows.
So his visitors came up on their own.
Visitors?
Well, he wasn't coming here with a room service.
Will you excuse us, please? They found the Le Mans, 8 blocks from here, key in the ignition.
Registration?
Yeah, it belonged to him.
Him who?
The victim, Mark Stavros.
Not bad. Killer uses the victim's own car to run him down, and it just leaves it for us to find. No fuss, no muss, no 15-day waiting period. 2 thumbs up.
And they knew exactly where he kept the spare key.
Maybe it was the woman he was with tonight.
Yeah. Or maybe he had a roommate.
Yeah.
So, what happened? Was it a robbery?
Well, it doesn't really look that way.
Why?
Well, we were kind of hoping that you could tell us that.
Tell you what, there's no reason anyone would want to kill Mark. Please, come in.
So, what exactly was the arrangement here?
I don't understand.
Well, how did it break down? 2 bedrooms, 3 people?
That was Mark's room, and Danielle and me were there.
Elliot and I moved in here at the start of the term. We didn't need the extra bedroom, but it was all they had available.
And then Mark said he'd pay 1/3 of the rent. I mean, we didn't need it, but he never had a chance to live near the water.
So how'd you guys meet?
I had classes with Mark freshman year.
Then he and I shared a frog and biology class. I mentioned that Danielle and I were going out, and we started hanging out together. Excuse me. Is there something you're looking for?
No. Just browsing.
I mean, are we suspects or something? Because if we are, then I think maybe you need a search warrant.
Actually, we don't. See, your roommate's property is part of a homicide investigation, and I'm sure you want to cooperate with us.
Any reason you wouldn't?
No, we haven't got anything to hide.
Good. How about Mark?
What about him?
Did he have anything to hide?
No.
Nothing.
Was he dating anybody in particular?
Nothing steady.
Look, like I said, it was mostly just the 3 of us hanging out together.
And there's nobody you can think of who might have had a problem with him?
No. He was a nice guy.
Yeah, everybody liked him.
Obviously, somebody didn't.
Can you believe that apartment? I didn't live that way when I was in school.
I don't live that way now. Think you can explain something to me?
What?
Why do people always lie to cops?
Because they're guilty? Because they're nervous? Or because they just don't like cops?
I knew you'd have the answer. Tell me, 1, 2, or 3?
2, hands down. Come on. We show up, we tell them their roommate is dead. Who wouldn't be nervous?
Why not 1?
That they're guilty? There's no reason to.
We're homicide cops. That's a reason.
Wait a minute. You're telling me that every time you question somebody, you're figuring that they're either guilty or they just don't like you?
Something like that.
Terrific. Hey, you must make a lot of friends on the job.
Well, I made friends with you.
Don't take that to the bank.
Tell me you got something.
Too much is what we got. Hair samples in every color imaginable, from every body site imaginable. Looks like he used this for a playroom before he could afford hotel rooms.
Prints?
Lots of them, but nothing to help us. The ones on the steering wheel are his, but they're smudged.
From the killer's glove.
Uh-huh. Same with the spare key and the ignition. We did find the box where he kept it. It's right under here.
Did you dust this?
Uh-huh. Nada. It's over there.
Thanks.
Hi.
Hey,
Hey,
how was the dentist?
about as much fun as an autopsy. Speaking of which, no surprises on Stavros. Massive cranial trauma. Hector figures he was dead before he hit the ground. Backing over him was putting lips on a chicken.
Yeah.
What's with that?
It's where the killer found the duplicate key.
It's kind of narrow, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's kind of snug for the key to fit.
And too snug to shake out.
And too snug to get out with gloves on. Eldon! Eldon, dust the inside of that thing. Okay? Thanks.
Is it readable?
Oh, yeah. Maybe a little smudge, but enough for an ID.
Great. Now all we need is a likely suspect. Maybe one of those 2 roommates.
Maybe both.
Sergeant Ryan,
Yeah, that's me.
why is my son being interrogated?
And you are?
Beverly Drake, Elliot's mother. And you?
I'm Sergeant St. John, his partner.
How nice for him. Are you going to answer my question?
We were just asking him a few questions. I'd hardly call that an interrogation.
So I may assume he's not a suspect.
I wouldn't presume to tell you what to assume.
Sergeant Ryan, please don't tell me you're a smartass.
I'm not.
Actually, there's room for discussion there.
Because if you want to play games, I have more lawyers on retainer than you have IQ points.
Really? How many lawyers do you have?
From coast to coast, 157.
Really?
And unless you and your department want to get to know them intimately, I would advise you to proceed carefully with my son. Very carefully. Are we understanding each other?
Totally.
We like it when those threats are right out front.
Call me tomorrow. I'll give you the name of my hairdresser.
What do I need the name of her hairdresser for? I think this looks great.
Was that Beverly Drake?
The very same.
Yeah, her son was a friend of the Stavros guy.
You were nice to her, weren't you?
Yeah.
We're nice to everybody.
No. No, you're not.
What's the problem, Harry?
Please tell me that you did not piss her off.
We didn't piss her off.
Well, we pissed her off a little.
Come on, that's not funny.
Come on, what do you do? Give us a speech on how much influence she has with the mayor?
Franny has been working on her for over a year to become a sponsor of the UJA.
Really? She didn't look Jewish.
No.
She's not. That's how come it's taken so long. Please, guys, don't screw this one up. Franny will die, and I guarantee you she'll take me along with her.
Why?
Look, I know you're upset. So am I. But we have to keep acting like nothing happened.
Mark is dead. Somebody murdered him.
We don't know if that has anything to do with
Of course it did. You heard the detectives. It wasn't a robbery.
That doesn't mean that we have to keep
I think that we
acting
should
like...
tell them.
Oh, the police. You want to tell the police?
But they're gonna find out sooner or later.
No, they're not going to find out at all. Because if they do, then everybody's going to know.
But if we don't say anything, we may end up just like Mark.
Well, that's a chance we're just going to have to take.
Oh, I hate to say it, but maybe she's right.
Oh, your hair looks great.
You always say that. If I shave my head like Michael Jordan, you'd say it looks great.
Maybe I should have thought of that when we were married.
Don't go there.
Sergeant Ryan, I'm Ronald Coe.
Let me guess, you're Danielle's father.
Damn right I am.
And you want to know where I get off interrogating your daughter?
Damn right I do.
Getting a sense of deja vu.
Your flippancy is inappropriate, Detective.
I'll take a wild stab at this. You're his attorney.
Yes, and she also happens to be my wife.
Oh, I thought she was Danielle's big sister. I know. Inappropriate.
From what Danielle tells us, you probably violated her rights.
Definitely deja vu. She's not a suspect. Elliot's not a suspect. We don't have a suspect, okay?
I'm warning you. You damn well better walk softly.
He does. And he also carries a big stick.
On the other hand,
It'd be a pleasure to get you into court. Whatever trips your trigger.
Second wife.
Oh, gotta be. But it's nice of him to marry someone that Danielle can play with.
Explain something to me.
Yeah.
All we did is ask those kids a few questions.
Uh-huh.
So how come their parents are so damn anxious we don't talk to them again?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's because they're afraid of the questions we might ask.
See, you're on a roll. Question is, what's the question? Ryan. Thank you, we'll be right there. Somebody just attacked Danielle Coe in her apartment.
I went out for a run, and when I came back, I found the apartment turned upside down. And the next thing I know, somebody comes running out of the bedroom and smashes something against my head.
Did you see what they look like? Big, small, thin, fat.
It happened so fast, I couldn't even tell you if it was a man or a woman.
Did you notice if anything was missing?
No, it doesn't look like anything's gone.
Elliot, we have to tell them.
Tell us what?
Can't.
Tell us what?
They can't protect us if they don't know.
They can't protect us if they do.
This has something to do with Mark's death.
It was a joke. A dumb joke.
Well, if this can help us catch Mark's killer.
I just can't believe it has something to do with this.
Except you do.
Yeah, I do. It was one of those nights where it was raining so hard you thought the windows were gonna break. And we ordered in a pizza, and we drank a couple bottles of wine. And I don't even know how it got started. Look, I'm really having a hard time talking about this.
Just remember that Mark's dead and his killer is still out there.
I know.
Look, we spent a lot of years talking to people about things they don't want to discuss. So if it makes you feel any better, we've probably heard this before.
I don't think so. Sometimes it helps if you just spit it out without even thinking about it.
Okay. I don't know how we got into it, but we all started talking about how none of us could imagine our parents doing it. Anyway, someone came up with the idea of voice-activated tape recorders under the bed. I know it's sick and not funny. I guess it just seemed that way at the time.
You did it?
Yeah, with Elliot's mom, and my dad and his wife. Mark's father was out of the country. So we left them there for a couple of weeks, and when we got them back, there was a lot of tape. So Mark offered to edit it down to all the good parts.
You listened to it.
Yes, I know it sounds awful.
Well, that's not the point. You obviously think there's something on those tapes that has to do with the murder.
Yes.
I can see how your parents might be a little ticked off. Yeah. But it's a big step to killing somebody. Okay, we need to hear these tapes.
Well, that's the point. Whoever broke in here, they stole them. The tapes are gone.
What's the matter?
Makes you think something's the matter.
When you're upset about something and you don't want to talk about it, you get this funny look on your face.
Like what?
I don't know. Like on Christmas morning when you don't get what you wanted, but you don't want your folks to know how disappointed you are.
How'd you get to know me so well after 7 months?
I was paying attention.
Cassie, I've been doing this job for 10 years, and I remember how the first time for things used to upset me.
Mm-hmm.
My first dead guy, my first dead woman, my first dead child. But, you know, the next time, it didn't bother me as much. Then you start to get used to this stuff. You think you're getting used to this stuff, and then...
I am something like these kids. Yeah.
I mean, it's not murder. It's not rape. It's not... Well, it's like she said, it's sick. I mean, they got their whole lives ahead of them. Everything going for them, and they go and pull a stunt like this. Mm-hmm. What? To the very people that are making all this possible for them.
Yep. There's got to be something more on that tape.
Yeah, that's what I figured. And I think Danielle and her boyfriend know what it is. Yes. Red and white. Yamaha. 246857. Yes. As soon as possible. Thanks.
Okay, I checked upstairs, and there's definitely nothing missing.
Right, okay. So if he didn't take anything out, that means...
He had to be putting something in.
Right. Bingo.
What?
The place has been bugged.
Oh, great. Great. Oh, God. Okay. Where are we? Ah. Yep, here we go. Right here. Here's one.
Okay. Well, that'll be it for in here. Check the bedroom.
Yeah, that's where he was when I surprised him.
How do you get in here anyway? I thought you had an alarm system.
Yeah, it wasn't on.
Why not?
Because I like to keep the windows open so it doesn't get stuffy.
You have air conditioning, don't you?
Yeah, but it gets very expensive to run it.
Since when can't you afford to run your air conditioning? Oh, aha, since you bought a new car.
Uh-huh.
Aha, that's something detectives say when they figured something out, and don't try to change the subject.
Do you know how expensive insurance is on a Boxster?
Yeah, a lot more than a Mustang.
A lot more.
Well, that's the price you pay for a status symbol.
That is not why I bought it.
It is so.
It is not.
Is so.
It's not.
Okay, whatever.
Oh, don't passive-aggressive, whatever.
You want active-aggressive? I don't like being called in the middle of the night because you came across somebody breaking into your apartment because you left it wide open.
All right, next time I won't call.
The next time the guy might have a gun, you won't be able to do anything about it.
You got scared.
Damn right I got scared.
It's very sweet.
Well, if it's all the same to you, I'd much rather pay your monthly utility bill, okay? We both sleep better.
Hello. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. Okay, thanks. Bye. Motorcycle is registered to SIPCO Corporation. Have you ever heard of them?
Yeah.
Well, let's just check it out in the morning. Just gonna come a lot sooner than I'd like to think about.
Do you want me to stay over? Make sure everything's okay?
No, it's okay. I'll be all right. Thank you.
Okay, turn on your alarm.
I will. And the air conditioning. I mean, what the hell, as long as you're paying. Good night.
Night.
Well, well. Hello, Beverly Drake.
No kidding.
Right at the top of the list.
Must be an important person.
Well, actually, it's listed alphabetically.
You think that's a coincidence?
I think not. What's the real connection?
I think she wants to find out what we know.
Well, that would make a short conversation.
Maybe not. Maybe not. There's a lot of stuff in those tapes. What if Mark Stavros is blackmailing her?
There's a lot of blank spaces in that theory.
Okay, well, let me fill them in. Stavros doesn't have the kind of money that his roommates do. He's sharing expenses.
Well, so are they.
Yeah, but like the Drake kids said, it made it sound like, well, like they were doing him a favor, and he's driving an old car.
Okay. So he's a poor boy at the party. It's a long jump to blackmail.
Not so long. We find his body in Palm Beach's finest hotel.
So the question is, how come he's not at the no-tell-motel like most kids his age?
And where did he get the money to pay for the room?
I think it's time to have a chat with Beverly Drake.
Not until we check Mark Stavros' bank records.
Now, exactly what is this all about?
We have reason to believe that you planted surveillance bugs in my apartment.
And why in God's name would I do that?
We were kind of hoping you could tell us that.
Look, Detective...
Sergeant,
if we're gonna play show and tell, you're gonna have to go first.
Fine.
What exactly is this?
Mark Stavros' bank record.
You can wait for me outside.
It's not a good idea, Beverly.
It's a fine idea. Outside. I needed to find out how much you knew.
We know a lot.
I suppose you have copies of the checks.
Absolutely.
All drawn on the Maristat Corporation.
Of which you're the CEO.
What if I told you he was on the payroll?
We'd ask to see the time cards.
As a consultant.
We'd ask for records of his reports.
Not bad, Sergeant.
We try.
Oh, he's about as good as it gets. He's just modest.
We figure blackmail. You were paying him off.
Obviously, you've heard the tapes.
Was he squeezing you for more?
No.
And why'd you kill him?
I take it back. You're not so good.
You admit you were paying him off.
He'd heard enough on that tape to have me thrown in jail. But if I'd wanted to kill him, I wouldn't wait until I paid him $5,000.
That's not much of an alibi.
All right. Then how about this one? 2 nights ago, I was with a 2-star general, convincing him to award Maristat a $2 billion contract.
Exactly how long were you with him?
All night. He needed a lot of convincing.
Can he vouch for that?
In every way imaginable.
Story check out?
Like an echo.
You think the general was telling the truth?
Man's calling the whole contract into question, admitting she was there. He's telling the truth.
Ryan. Really? Thanks a lot. That was Andrews.
Yeah?
2 of the housekeepers saw Laurent Cole leaving Stavros' room the night of the murder.
That doesn't necessarily make her the killer.
But that moves her up the list.
We really appreciate you coming in and talking to us.
No problem.
You sure you don't want your own lawyer?
Positive.
More water?
No, thanks. I'm fine. Let's just get to it, okay?
Right this way. Okay, we believe that you were in the room the night that Mark Stavros was killed.
Which means that you have a witness that can positively ID me.
Actually, we have 2.
I don't suppose you believe that I was tutoring him in con law.
No. No, because we know he had a tape.
Oh, yes, he did have a tape. Compliments of my perverse little stepdaughter.
What makes you think that?
How else would he get it? He hasn't been over to my home.
So something on the tape gave him reason to blackmail you.
Yes, Sergeant Ryan, he was blackmailing me.
How much were you paying him?
Not how much. How often. Once a week, every week.
Not a nice boy.
Real prince.
And he paid for the room.
Oh, yes, that was part of his turn on. Used to make a big deal about the fact that he didn't need me for my money, just my...
Does your husband have any idea?
No. And there's no reason for you to tell him.
Mrs. Cole, we're not trying to break up your marriage.
Good. Because it's just barely hanging on. It's no secret that Ronald and I are having problems. Not to mention Lolita zapping me every chance she got. It's amazing it's lasted this long.
You were having an affair, weren't you?
I told you Stavros was blackmailing me.
No. That's what he was blackmailing you about.
Do you know what it means to be a successful lawyer? 12-hour days, 7 days a week. And when I get done at the office, Ronald wants to take me dancing.
So you were having an affair to relieve the stress?
Yes. Yes, it did. Until that tape popped up. I thought Stavros was a one-shot thing. And the more I saw him, the more he wanted. He started talking about meeting me twice a week.
And you weren't prepared to do that?
No.
The alternative was to tell your husband.
And I hadn't figured out a way to do that. So I kept meeting Stavros.
Sancho. Thanks, Hilton. Prints matched.
What prince?
Yours.
Mrs. Cole, you're under arrest for the murder of Mark Stavros.
What are you talking about?
You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney.
This is ridiculous.
Anything you say or
Get your
do-
hands off me.
Did I not tell you? Did I not say that together you were the best of the best? Huh? The 71 Dolphins? The 97 Bulls? Ha ha ha!
Do you remember anything like that?
But I do remember one time when he called us a blot on the landscape of law enforcement.
That was very harsh. Did he ever apologize for that?
No, not that I recall.
I apologize. I apologize for every unkind look, for every unjustified comment. You are the light of my life. You're my pride and joy.
This is really about Beverly Drake being in the clear, isn't it?
Exactly.
Which means you are too.
Exactly.
And we could have arrested the Mother Teresa for this killing.
Exactly.
Somebody better tell him to cheer down.
Well, it's nice to see that he's happy.
Yeah.
So why aren't we? Happy, I mean.
I don't know. Too easy?
No, not exactly. More like too neat. Explain something to me.
Don't start with that again.
Yeah, but you've been doing so well with it so far. Just, come on. If Lauren Coe was such a good lawyer, why was she so forthcoming about what went on between her and Stavros? Why wouldn't she just clam up?
Misdirection. She wants to seem cooperative, so we will look elsewhere, because she knows we made her at the hotel.
Maybe, but then explain this to me. She's very careful with the death car. She wears gloves.
So why does she leave the print on the key box?
No, more than that. Why does she leave the key box at all? Think about it. She walks into the garage. She has to go underneath the wheel well, get the key box. She pulls the key box out, opens it up, takes the key out. Now she reaches back underneath the wheel well and replaces the key box. Doesn't that seem like a lot of trouble to go to?
Not if you want somebody to find it.
Why would she want that?
Not her. Somebody else.
So what can I do for you, Sergeant?
Just a few more questions, that's all.
Ask away. You said you had some classes with Mark Stavros?
Yes.
What you didn't mention is that you were also seeing him.
Well, I was hardly seeing him. We had coffee a few times.
Now, you roomed with Sally Barnes last year in the dorm?
Yes, that's where you have to stay when you're a freshman.
Well, we talked to her this morning, and she said that what was going on between you and Mark was more than coffee.
One night. But that's all it was. It was one night.
And then he stopped seeing you.
I stopped seeing him.
Well, must have been awkward. He moves in, you and Elliot in the next room.
It wasn't awkward at all. Look, I told you this was no big thing.
Was it a big thing when you found out that he was sleeping with your stepmother?
That's the first I heard of that.
How do you feel about it?
What is this, Jerry Springer? I'm not surprised if that's what you're asking. She trashed my mother's life. Why shouldn't she trash my daddy's life, too?
And you never forgave her for that.
I think that I'm done talking now, so if you don't mind.
No, it's okay. In fact, we'll do the talking for a while. You see, we think that you still have feelings for Mark, and that's why you suggested that he move in with you and Elliot.
That's not how it happened.
We talked to Elliot this morning. That's how he remembers it.
But it didn't work out so well. He still wouldn't look at you, which had to hurt some.
So you listened to the unedited tapes. You heard Beverly Drake offering bribes. You heard your stepmother talking to her lover.
And so you found out how Mark was blackmailing her. That fertile mind of yours figured out how to blackmail him, get him back, and Lauren too.
But you're good. You're very good. So you didn't leave a fingerprint that would jump out at us. So most people would have left it on the steering wheel or a mirror, but not you. You're more subtle.
What are you saying?
Well, that you transferred one of your stepmother's prints to the key box to incriminate her after you murdered Mark.
That's ridiculous. I wouldn't know how to do anything like that.
That's right. Most people wouldn't. It's tricky. Requires a special kind of tape.
But there's a place to research things like that. On the internet. They're called chat rooms, where you can ask people for unique information, like we did last night. Took us a while, but we found out. Mystery writer's chat room. So we asked the question, how to transfer prints.
And somebody remembered being asked that question about a month ago. Somebody whose login name was Danny Boy. And why don't we find out what your login name is, Danielle?
Ryan, St. John, my office. Now.
Okay, I gotta go.
Franny just called. Beverly Drake just made one of the largest donations they have ever received.
That's great, Harry.
Mm-hmm. Ms. Drake also asked that the two of you be made especially aware of the nature of her donation.
Why would she do that?
Why indeed? What did you two do?
What makes you think we did anything here?
Because my IQ is higher than room temperature.
Oh, but not as high as Mrs. Drake's attorney account.
What did you do?
Well, there was the matter of Cassie's apartment being broken into, Harry.
You blackmailed her.
Harsh. That's a little harsh.
And if Franny's happy, then you're happy.
It makes us happy.
And why tamper with all that happiness?